Okay, it's just a quick video today on making the tails for the connections for the switchboard to the LTO blocks. Now the LTO blocks, when they get to you, will come with an assortment of these sort of things which drop into the little connection holes here on tops of the packs. Some are longer than others. The long ones are a bit of a pain in the neck because they do stick up a bit too high. So there is a simple substitute you can use for those, which you won't be needing anymore with the switchboards, and that is the nickel metal hydride pack spacers, and they actually just drop down very nicely into the little holes there. So they are much more in keeping with the height of the smaller ones rather than the massive, the tall LTO connectors, so you don't have to have it protruding too high. So the other consideration is that you should clean inside these connection points here. I've been using a little wire brush on the end of a drill, so just pop that down there, give them a few seconds of a clean up, clean both sides of the spacer. I just use a piece of flat sandpaper for that. So just give it a clean both sides, and then you can drop that back in there, and it's nice and clean. It's going to make a good contact for when we attach our tails to it. So I'm going to use, I've cleaned these ones, so I'm going to use an Insight spacer here, standard spacer here. That's going to be a standard spacer in there. I've got a spare one for that one, and then an Insight spacer there. So that all fits in very nicely and gives you a nice clean point for the tails to attach to. Oh, and also you should clean both sides of the Insight spacers as well, just to make sure that there's no poor electrical contact possibilities. And I would also remove these and do these as well, clean up both sides of the spacer and the mounting point inside there and the bus bar, so that we've got absolutely minimum resistance in the high current connections for the pack. So making the tails, just using the super flexible like welding multi-core wire, which is nice and flexible. So I'm going to offer this up to the various connection points here. Like this will be a positive here. These other packs are the other way round to my other packs. So the positive and negatives are in slightly different positions, but it's no problem. You just have to make these all up individually anyway. So I'll push this wire through here, through this probably level here. Previously had gone down there and that was too low, so now this level here will clear the wooden bar, support bar, which is at the back there. So that was an issue from the first pack, and you can see this pack I've actually painted the wooden base black, and these are all bolted in now. So get them everything bolted in, then make up your tails using crimp terminals, and I always solder mine. I do not like crimping on its own. I haven't got a proper crimping tool, so I'll partially crimp these and then I will use solder. So then you get your nice 6mm M6 terminals, and it's all going to be very, very secure and clean and good connections. So that's just some hints on doing your tails. Also on the back of your switchboard, or on your front of your switchboard as well, make sure you clean up the faces of the connection points for the tails, so that these are, and clean the other side as well using the little wire brush, so that these are all really nice and clean and you get a good solid tight connection between this and the tail ends eyelet, which will go on here.